Welcome back, I'm Tyson, and I think we finally know how Peter Parker gets his organic webs back in the MCU. Not from a spider bite, not from magic, not from Tony Stark tech, from a virus. Here's the thing, a plot leak for Spider-Man, brand new day dropped online, and most people looked at it and said okay, Jackal is the villain, the Hand wants a new leader, Jean Grey shows up, but I spent way too long doing some research on this, and I think everyone missed the most interesting part. The part that fixes a problem Marvel has been avoiding for years. How do you give Peter his classic powers back without rebooting the whole story? Let me explain where this leak came from first, because I want to be clear, this is not confirmed, this is not Variety, this is not a trade. This came from an anonymous scooper on X, someone claiming to have seen a rough cut or a script draft. I am skeptical of most of these posts, you should be too, but here's why I'm giving this one attention. The details are weird, and when leaks are weird in very specific ways, sometimes they turn out to be real. No one invents the Jackal virus, mutates Peter and gives him organic webs for fun. That's too strange to make up. So here's what the leak claims. The Jackal creates a genetic virus. If you get infected, the virus makes you easy to control. The Jackal can jump his consciousness into your body like a ghost moving between rooms. He wants a powerful host. His own body is dying. He makes a deal with Tombstone. Tombstone helps him control the Hand. The Hand is looking for a new leader. The Jackal uses his possession powers to trick the Hand. He makes them believe their ancient god, the Beast, has returned, and the Beast needs a body. That body, Peter Parker. But here's where it gets interesting. The Jackal tries to possess Peter and he fails. The virus is inside Peter, but Peter's body does not let the Jackal take over, and Peter gets organic webs, stronger strength, better senses, a spider sense that works even faster. This is the part that got me obsessed, because for years fans have asked, why does Peter need web shooters? In the comics he had organic webs for a while, in the Raimi movies he had them, but the MCU kept the tech version, and I think I know why Marvel is doing this now. Here's my theory, and I want to be clear, this is speculation, but I think the Jackal virus is a backdoor way to give Peter his classic powers without a full reboot. Think about it, if Peter just woke up one day with organic webs, that would feel random, fans would hate it, but if he gets them from a villain's failed possession attempt, that's a story, that's consequence, that's the kind of weird science Marvel loves to borrow from the Ultimate Comics. Let me stack the evidence. Fact 1. The Jackal in the comics is a clone-obsessed guy, but Carrion, his creation, is a virus-based creature. Carrion can decay organic matter, he can possess people. The leak combines Jackal and Carrion into one villain. That tracks with how Marvel simplifies comic lore for movies. Fact 2. The Hand has been in the MCU since Daredevil. They were in the Netflix shows, they were in Defenders. Marvel has been slow to bring them into the movies. But a leaderless Hand looking for a new master? That fits. Fact 3. Jean Grey is in this movie, that's confirmed. Sadie Sink is playing her. We know she's in Secret Wars too. So her being on the run, no Xavier, no school, that makes sense. But here's the thing I keep coming back to, the organic webs. Because Marvel has been careful about Peter's power level. In Homecoming, he was a kid who needed training wheels. In Far From Home, he relied on tech. In No Way Home, he lost everything including his suit. Now he's alone, no Stark tech, no Happy, no suit with gadgets. So how does he fight? The leak says the virus gives him organic webs, stronger strength, better senses. That solves the problem. Peter becomes more like his comic book self, not because Tony Stark gave him a gift, but because a villain accidentally upgraded him. I really do not buy most of the plot leaks I see online, but this one, the logic holds together. Let me give you my numbered list. Here are 4 reasons this leak could be real. Number 1. Marvel needs to explain Peter's power increase. He's been Spider-Man for years in MCU time, but he still feels like the underdog. Organic webs make him feel more like the hero from the comics. Number 2. The Jackal virus failing on Peter mirrors the comics. In the Ultimate Universe, the Oz formula gave Peter his powers, but it also created his villains. A virus that mutates differently in different people, that's the same idea. Number 3. Jean Grey being immune to the Jackal makes sense for her story. The leak says her mind is too strong. The Jackal cannot possess her. That sets up her role in Secret Wars. She's the one who can resist mind control. That matters when Doom or the Phoenix comes into play. Number 4. The ending. Peter lets himself die to trap the Jackal. He goes to Aunt May's grave, he sits down, he waits. That is dark. But it also gives him a reason to come back different. If he survives, and the leak suggests he might, he comes back with permanent changes, organic webs, stronger, faster, no more tech crutch. But here's why I'm not completely sold, and this is the skepticism part. I always do this, because I want to be fair. My skepticism comes from 3 things. 1. Peter dying at a grave is really heavy for a summer blockbuster. Disney has done sad endings, Endgame was sad, but a teenager choosing to die alone, that might be too much for a Spider-Man movie. 2. The Jackal is not a household name. Marvel usually picks villains the general audience knows or can learn quickly quickly. Vulture, Mysterio, even Craven is more famous. The Jackal is a deep cut. 3. The leak says the Hand wants to kill and resurrect Peter to make him their leader. That is very similar to what happened in the comics with Craven's last hunt. Craven buried Peter alive. Peter dug himself out. Marvel might not want to repeat that beat so soon. So I'm not saying this leak is confirmed. I'm saying the organic webs part is the most interesting piece. Because whether this leak is real or fake, Marvel has to solve the Peter Parker power problem eventually. And this is a clever way to do it. Let me go deeper on the Jackal virus. Because the mechanics matter. The leak says the virus jumps between bodies. Anyone infected can become the Jackal's new vessel. He wants Bruce Banner. He tries to possess Peter. He fails. But here's what nobody is talking about. The virus mutates inside Peter. It does not control him, it upgrades him. That means the Jackal accidentally created a better Spider-Man. That is the kind of irony Marvel loves. The villain's weapon backfires. The hero gets stronger, but the hero also gets a curse. Because the virus is still inside him, and that curse is the open loop. Because if the Jackal dies inside Peter, what happens to the virus? Does it die too, or does it stay? The leak says Peter lets himself die so the Jackal dies with him. But then he goes to the grave, and the leak does not confirm he actually dies. So here's my speculation. I think Peter survives, but the virus changes him permanently. He keeps the organic webs, he keeps the heightened senses, but he also has a piece of the Jackal inside him forever. That sets up a future story. Maybe the Jackal comes back. Maybe Peter struggles with his darker side. This is the part that gets me, because in the comics Peter has been cloned, he has been possessed, he has been replaced, but he has never had to live with a piece of his enemy inside his own DNA. That is new, that is interesting. And if Marvel is planning a mutant saga where everything connects, a Peter Parker who is part virus, part spider, part man, that fits. He becomes a bridge between the street level heroes and the cosmic weirdness. Let me talk about Jean Grey for a second, because her role in this leak is small but important. She is on the run, no Xavier, no school, no one to teach her. The DODC locks her up because they think she is causing the possessions, but she is not, she is the cure. She frees Punisher from the Jackal. She helps Peter trap the Jackal. She senses the virus inside him at the end. This sets her up as a psychic hero who does not need Xavier, and that matters for Secret Wars, because in Secret Wars the Phoenix Force is coming. And if Jean Grey already knows how to fight mind control, how to enter other people's minds, how to trap a consciousness inside a body, she is ready for the Phoenix. The leak is not about Jean, but it builds her character quietly. That is good writing. That is the kind of detail Marvel plans years in advance. So even if this leak is fake, the logic behind it is smart. Now let me address the elephant in the room. Peter going to Aunt May's grave, that is brutal. I hope that is not true. But if it is true, here is why Marvel might do it. Peter has lost everything. May is dead, Tony is dead, he has no friends, no suit, no money. He is a kid who has been through more trauma than most adults. So him choosing to die to save others, that is very Spider-Man. He would do that. He did that in Infinity War. He died in Tony's arms. Doing it again but alone. At May's grave that hits different. And here is the off-ramp. The leak does not say he dies, it says he sits down to die. We do not see the body. So Marvel has an out, someone saves him. Maybe Jean, maybe the virus keeps him alive. Maybe he wakes up 3 days later like he always does. But the important part is not whether he dies. The important part is what he becomes if he lives. A Spider-Man with organic webs, no web shooters, no tech, just his body and his will. That is the Spider-Man I grew up reading. I want to be clear about something. I am not saying this leak is true. I am saying the ideas in it are good. They solve problems, they set up future stories, they respect the characters. Most fake leaks are fan fiction. They sound cool but they do not work with the bigger plan. This one, it connects to Jean Grey in Secret Wars. It connects to the Hand from Daredevil. It connects to Peter's power level problem. That is 3 connections. Fake leaks usually have 0. So here is where I land. I think there is a version of Brand New Day that looks like this leak, not exactly, but close the Jackal as a virus villain, organic webs as a side effect, Jean Grey as the psychic backup, Peter peeking a sacrifice play, and the open loop at the end. The virus is still inside Peter. Even if the Jackal dies, the mutation stays. So what is Peter now? Is he still human? Is he something else? And what happens when the Phoenix comes looking for Jean and senses that virus inside him? That is the question nobody is asking. We are so focused on whether Peter dies that we are missing the bigger mystery. What if he lives? What if the virus changes him forever? What if Brand New Day is not about Peter getting a fresh start? What if it is about Peter becoming something new? Something that never existed in the comics before? I spent way too long thinking about this and I still do not have an answer. But that is why I will be watching, and you should too.